Hello. This video demonstration is to show you how to frame your artwork. So if you notice, this is the door you usually come into. I want to go across the hallway, and that door is usually open, and that's where we keep all of our frames. So let's go back there and we will see what we can find. So we're in the back room now, and you might hear a humming sound that comes from one of the machines over there. This is where we keep all of our frames. Now I do have everything labeled. So if you don't know what size frame to get, you can come get me, or you just ask me. It's like, what size frame do we need? And then I can kind of tell you. So these are 12 by 18. There are arrows here that show that these are all 12 by 18. As you come down, these are also 12 by 18, but you will notice that these are actually bigger, than some of the ones that are up here. And what that means, I'm going to pull one of these out, is it has a mat around the whole thing. So the frame is actually bigger than a 12 by 18, but the mat that's inside of it actually is meant for that piece of artwork. So it's up to you in terms of what you want to get. Something also to consider is there's lots of different color frames. If you notice, there are gold ones, there are silver ones, there are wooden ones. When we have this many frames, you have a lot of flexibility as an artist to figure out what kind of works best for your project and for whatever you did. If you are the kind of person that likes silver, you try to grab one of those. If you like the wood look, you grab that instead. Over here are other sizes. These are 12 by 12, 8 by 11. You don't use those too much. Here's another one that we use quite a bit, which is our 16 by 20. So you'll definitely use those. Below there, I know you can't see because of this, are our 9 by 12s, and down over here is 18 by 24. So these are all for you to be able to get when you need to get those frames, okay? If you are a student that needs to take the glass out of your frame, what I would like you to do at that point is I want you to set the glass pieces, probably all of them. Let's put them right down here. So this is our 18 by 24 area, but it's nice and large, so we can take those out. So any spare glass you can stick right inside of here. Projects like there's a copper wire tree project we do. There's a yarn painting project that we do. And I think there are a couple other ones that you might end up having to take that glass out. Just be real careful when you do. Again, when you work with glass, you never slide your hand across it. You want to just be careful with it, and you should be fine. If you break it, it's not that big a deal. We use those for our mosaics anyways. There are about 4 different kinds of frames that I want to go over next in terms of how you take them out so you can get your artwork put inside of there. So I'm going to grab them, and then I'll meet you over at the black table. Thanks. Okay, so our first frame we're going to talk about is this one right here. So this style frame has a wire on it. It also has these spring clips of some sort, and you have to be able to put these off to the side to be able to get this piece of foam core off. Now right now, because of the wire here, there's actually it's called a lobster clasp. We learned about this in our metals and jewelry. It's a clasp you typically might have like on a necklace. You just unloosen one of them and bring this off to the side. I try to design these the best I can so it should be really quick. So you shouldn't have to do this and spend very much time on there. I'm going to take the foam core piece off. And then I'm going to take this, actually I'm going to leave this inside here. And this is a 16 by 20 frame. I take it back. This is a 12 by 18 because it says frame size is 19 by 15 and a quarter. Mat is for a 12 by 18. So that's what this is for. So typically this would be for like a pencil drawing or something like that. Let's actually take this out. Typically you don't have to do this, but I want to show you something. I can take the glass out, like I was talking about before, by just kind of pushing up on the glass and sliding this out. You rarely have to actually do this. But if you want to, you can take this glass, and again, you never slide your hand up and down. If you just grab it, move it, and pull up, then you're fine with it. But you might want to hold this up and just kind of look at it and see if it's really dirty. Because sometimes you get oil pastel on here from the previous one, and then you don't want it necessarily to ruin your project. Underneath the sink, you're going to see this disinfectant all-purpose in glass cleaner. And what you would do is you give it about 2 or 3 squirts, not much more than that, and you would go around and you would clean this up. I'm going to slide that up, bring this glass back down again. If you are going to do this, because this is completely optional, you might have to do this because there might be something on the glass. You don't want to ruin your picture. But if you notice, I do have a towel down here. And I do have these full-size towels, again, over by the sinks, either in that room or in our 3D room here. You can set this down on your table. And then I just go around and use this cloth right here and just give it a good wipe down. So the problem that this causes is if you don't wipe down all of the cleaner, and you'd have to do both sides. If you don't wipe down all the cleaner and your glass is still just a little wet, that could ruin your project. So you just want to make sure that in either case, that either the glass is clean enough, it doesn't damage your piece, or you make sure that when you spray it down with the glass cleaner, that this is completely dry so it doesn't ruin anything, okay? And remember, if you have a project where you don't have the glass in, and I'll tell you that you'll have to take the glass out of it. You'll put it in that 18 by 24 spot in the back room. So, because when this comes back, then we can put the glass back inside of it. Okay, that's in place. This is going to go in place, and we are going to put a piece of paper down like it's our artwork. I'm going to grab this artwork right here, and we can see that it's a turtle. It's a very well-drawn turtle. And I'm going to put it on this piece right here. So the way I'm going to lay it down is I want to make sure that, especially with the frame here, that you don't see any of the glass. So the pieces of artwork should always be in the back of the mat, not in the front of it. I also have a hanger right here. So you can double check it by holding it up like this and seeing, is this how I want to hang it? Obviously not, because right now it's upside down. So you want to pay real close attention to where the top of your frame is at. So now I know the top of my turtle is there, top of my frame is right here. I can slit this in, and you have to tape this down when you have a mat. If you want to doesn't have a mat, you don't have to tape it down. You want to grab either it's a green tape or it's a blue tape. And this one's called a clean release. The other one's called a painter's tape. That is what you use because you want to be able to take this project off easily when you're done with it so you don't damage it. I'm going to lift this up, put a piece of tape there, and notice a small piece of tape. Put a piece of tape here, double check it, make sure it's how I want it. And this is enough. You don't need to tape all the sides on here. You just use a very small amount on this. Once this is done, you're going to slide this on. Lift this back up again. It's got caught there for a second. Then I'm going to take my lasso clasp, open it back up. Slide that inside, bring it back over, double check it, and then I'm going to add my name tag on. Our name tags, which you should have some, are actually divided up into 3 different colors. I have a black, I have a red, I have a gray, and I have a white. So this is a drawing project. It should say drawing 1 with your name on it. And it says drawing 1 because that's the first level of drawing class. If you get an A- or better in this class, remember you proceed on to drawing 2. You get an A- or better, and that's a gray. And then drawing 3 is red. And then the ultimate, which is drawing 4, is black. So you can kind of tell kind of the level that we have in terms of your name tags, in terms of what you are going to be doing. But I have my name right here. I'm going to grab a pencil, and you need to fill this out. So whatever grade you're in, so it's grade level 9, 10, 11, 12, you just circle that. And then it says keep or toss. If you don't like your project and you don't want it back, you can circle toss. If you want it back, you circle keep. And then once that is done, you're going to take some tape. It doesn't really matter so much if it's the green or the red or whatever tape. I always roll this up this way. So I put my name tag on there like that. Put it on the glass or the frame, depending on how it is, but always the bottom right-hand corner. And this is all ready to be displayed out in the community, because we do display our work out there, or in our hallways. Okay, so that's how you do this frame, and this also shows you how to do the entire thing. Let me show you the next frame. that we have. And I'm not going to go over how to put the artwork in and stuff like that. I just want to show you how to open it. Okay, here's another style. This one has these. This one's a little harder to get through, but it's a lot better quality. You push down on these things, and they kind of look like little teeter-totters. So I got one. Ideally, you should have 4 on there, but we always lose 1 or 2. If you do have one missing, you can ask me. If I have them readily available, I can get them for you. Okay, next up. Over by our chop saw over there, or there's a couple of eye screws, but kind of by the TV set between the cubbies, you're going to find some screwdrivers. And what I want to do with that is I want to loosen up this screw here. I want to loosen up this screw here. And then that should allow you to pull this bar out. Okay? I take this part out right here. The glass is going to stay inside of there because I'm not going to clean it. This one is a 16 by 20. So if you have a 16 by 20 oil pastel, that'll just slide right back inside of there. You'll slide this right back on there again. Again, making sure that you don't have to tear the whole thing apart again because you have it upside down. Let me take this. Goes in the corner there. Goes in the corner there, and we just tighten those screws back up again. You want to give it a little bit of a tight twist on there, but you don't ratchet on it. Okay. Going to take these again. It's like a teeter-totter, so you push it in like that, push down, slide it in. It should go in pretty easily. So again, it's like a teeter-totter. Slide that in. And like that, and then this frame is completely done. Our next frame are these. This is another style. You are going to have to, again, kind of go to those eye screw areas over by the chop saw or miter saw and get a pair of pliers of some sort. Because on this, you're going to grab this, and that one actually came right up. And you're going to kind of lift it up like this. I'm going to grab it right here, and then you follow along kind of your frame line. What you don't want to do is take this and then bend it like that. Then your piece will fall in the hallway, it'll probably damage it, and you'll have glass all over the place. Because it's the tension that's inside this little thing right here that allows this to stick. So as long as you grab it and you kind of roll it forward along that frame line, you're fine. These all come out. Your foam core comes off. This is 12 by 18, so you just put your project down. There's no taping or anything like that. Again, if there's a mat in here, then you would do 2 small things of that. Stick this back in place. Make sure that you know where the top is at. And this one, since we have to put these back, you have to know how to put them back. So let's say the top was up here. Okay. You figure out where a quarter or a third of the way down is, and you stick it right there. You never want to set it in the middle, because then it'll really lean forward. You know what? And you don't want to have it so high that this goes beyond this. Okay, you got to make sure you kind of do that correctly. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. We're going to pretend that this is the top. Go down about a third or a quarter. This one's awfully loose, so more than likely the person that did this one twisted it like that. So after this demonstration, I'm going to have to replace this piece. So try not to do that, because it does get irritating when people don't follow directions. Our next frame is this style. You'll run into these things. These help keep this down tight. You might run into that in the other one as well. That have these kind of clips. And then we just move these over. So this is very similar to the first one. However, the thing that is different with this is that these are different. It's a piece of string that has a knot at the end of it. And what you do is you have to pull that knot through the largest opening, and then it opens like this. I take my hand, like I do on other ones, I push up on the glass, I pull this out. This frame is looks like it's a 18 by 14. And the art that goes in here is a 12 by 18. So same thing, you lay this down, make sure you have your top, right. If it's here or here, tape it down, reassemble it, stick this back inside, drop that down, slide that in place. And this one's all set to go. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is once your project is all framed, where do you put it for me to grade it? So what you need to do is over here, this is kind of the doorway between our two-dimensional lab and our 3D lab, is you're going to take your project, and it doesn't matter which area you put it in, you just stick it in any one of them. So the project would just slide in like that. Okay, if this is all full, that's when like on the side here, something we can start stacking up pieces that are with it. If you do everything virtually, for example, you did the worksheet on Kami, you leave that there. I'm going to pull this out so I can be able to grade that. If you did not do things virtually and you have hard copies, of your grading sheet or anything like that, this needs to go with your project. So I would take this. Maybe this was part of the project. Maybe I would have some extra drawing samples or something. Any sheets that you have, you got to make sure that you have them labeled so I know whose they are, and then you can just stick them directly on top of your project. So when I grade it, I can just pull this out, grade this real quick, put this in the back so then I can kind of be able to, so I can start over with that. So once I pull it off, I can grade it really quick because everything is there, kind of thing. And it just makes things so much easier versus having like sheets all over the place. Because if I don't have your worksheet, I can't grade your project. Another thing that you never want to do is you never put anything over here unless it is on Artsonia. If you do not have it on there, I'm going to stick it back over here. Sometimes I put like notes, and I put it on the windowsill over there and say you need to do this, and I will put a 0 down until that gets done, because you have to every piece of artwork you have has to be on Artsonia. With that being said, take a picture before you put it in your frame, because you will lose points if you don't, because a lot of times it's next to impossible to take a picture of your project without getting this massive glare on it. Okay, so it's important that you take that photo before you frame it. Okay, and I understand it's going to be a pain in the neck, like, oh, I forgot to take that photo, but you really need to take that back out if you forgot to do that. Okay. Other than that, I think that's about it. So just let me know if you have any more questions, and good luck on framing your project.